Right now on Hoosier News Source, the latest on the death of an IU professor.
And big changes for scooter rentals here in Bloomington.
Hello and welcome to Hoosier News Source. I'm Kelly Lichter.
And I'm Ashton Hackman.
Kelly School of Business professor Timothy Baldwin was found deceased early Monday morning in the parking garage on Fee Lane. IUPD responded to a call at 5:57 a.m. on Monday, reporting a body on the south side of the Fee Lane parking garage. The Monroe County coroner confirmed Tuesday that he died by suicide. Baldwin worked in the Management and Entrepreneurship Department of Kelly and was 64 years old. IU has counseling services available for students and faculty, and the crisis line for CAPS can be reached 24 hours a day by calling the CAPS number and choosing option 1.
A man was arrested late Monday night after police say he stabbed a man and fled from police. Curtis Martin was charged with aggravated battery, battery with a deadly weapon, and resisting law enforcement. Around 11 p.m., officers responded to a report of a fight at the Kroger on Liberty Drive. There, they located a 27-year-old man with a stab wound in his abdomen. The man told them he had gotten into a fight with Martin, who had fled on foot from the scene. IUPD, BPD, and Monroe County Sheriff's Office then pursued Martin and used a canine unit to apprehend him. Martin also has outstanding warrants for methamphetamine possession and carrying a handgun without a license.
This past semester, IU has seen 2 student deaths related to riding electric scooters. Now, the city of Bloomington is taking action. The office of the mayor released a statement Tuesday afternoon saying, quote, following the recent tragic death of an IU student and mounting late-night injuries relating to scooter use, the city of Bloomington has directed all scooter companies operating in Bloomington to limit scooter operating hours to 5 a.m. until 11 p.m. daily, beginning this Thursday at 11 p.m. IUSTV News spoke with IUPD Officer Shannon Bunger a few weeks ago on e-scooter safety and their plan to curb further e-scooter injuries.
To get our message out even broader than not just at IU but into the city, working with the hospital because they're seeing people come in with injuries that we don't know about.
The office of the mayor continues to advise people to wear a helmet, yield to pedestrians, follow traffic laws, ride one person at a time, to not text and drive, and never ride under the influence.
Multiple sexual assaults were reported this past week, according to IUPD and Bloomington Police crime logs. A rape reported to BPD allegedly happened on October 5th at North College Avenue and is currently being investigated. IUPD also received multiple different reports involving a single suspect. There are 5 reports total, 1 direct report, and 4 third-party reports forwarded from the Office of Student Misconduct. These sexual assaults allegedly happened both on and off campus from mid-July through the start of the semester.
Midterms are right around the corner and early voting starts this Wednesday, but Monroe County still needs election poll workers to help this season. Hoosier News Source reporter Ella Rhodes tells us all about it.
Election approaches, the job of a poll worker is more important than ever.
If we didn't have the poll workers, we could do all the work that we wanted and the election would not happen. It takes the community to step forward and be able to be a part of it.
Poll workers are assigned a voting site and oversee security in the voting process. But counties across the nation, like Monroe County, struggle to have enough poll workers during the election, which is no new trend.
You have to have poll workers because there's different steps involved in voting. And if there's no one there to manage those steps, then the voter won't be able to vote.
So what does the in-person voting process look like here in Monroe County? Well, the first thing a voter is going to do is come over here and verify all their information. They'll then get a barcode printed and place it on this packet. Voters will then take their packet and scan their barcode to receive their ballot. Voters then make their way over to a voting booth to fill out their ballot in privacy.
Everyone that works in here, no matter what their position, the reason that we're here is to make it as easy as possible for people to vote.
Both Democrats and Republicans fill these positions and receive training to ensure election integrity.
We come to the election, it's never about politics, even though the whole thing seems like it is. It is really carrying on the election, making it successful, and keeping the integrity of the election.
To be a poll worker in Monroe County, you must be a registered voter and resident here and be at least 18 years old. For Hoosier News Source, I'm Ella Rhodes.
The election supervisor said she is still looking to fill 150 more poll worker positions, and the job is paid. If you're interested in working the polls, contact Karen Wheeler and visit monroecountyvoters.us/contact us.
Now for the latest on this week's weather, Kayla Craig is here to tell us what to expect. Kayla.
Thanks, Ashton. Over the next week, temperatures are likely to stray away from average all across the country. The western half of the states are likely to experience above average temperatures, especially in the northwest. And the eastern half can expect below average temperatures, definitely affecting the Great Lakes region, including us here in Bloomington. Let's have a look at our game day forecast. Kickoff is at 3:30 this Saturday as we take on Maryland here at home, and we seem to be in for some great game day weather. If you're tailgating, it'll be right around 60 with just a few clouds, and by the time you're heading to the stadium, we'll have some more clouds and a bit of a breeze and a slight chance of rain, so stay updated as we get closer to game day. On the bright side, it'll be in the upper 60s and not dropping too much throughout the game. Let's see what to expect for the rest of the week. Today we're likely to get some rain showers scattered throughout the day, and if you're staying in town for fall break, the rain might be back this weekend. And it looks like we can anticipate a good start to next week with some chilly fall weather. Stay safe and have a great week. Ashton and Callie, back to you.
Thanks, Kayla. Coming up on Hoosier News Source, the latest on City Council's vote to redistrict.
And we'll give you a look at the multi-million-dollar grant funding IU's Alzheimer's and dementia research. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Hoosier News Source.
Brooklyn Lambright joins us now in studio with the latest in international news. Brooklyn?
Thanks, Callie and Ashton. After missile strikes in the Ukrainian city of Zaporizhia, rescue operations have begun. 6 Russian cruise missiles hit the area of Zaporizhia on Sunday, killing 12 people and injuring many more. More than 200 rescuers are now searching the area for any survivors. This includes 8 teams with search dogs and 58 vehicle units. Fires have broken out across the city as a result of the strike, causing residential buildings to be destroyed. Emergency teams are working to collect survivors from the damage. The strike comes as Ukraine advances towards the Russian-controlled area of Kherson. Protests continue in Iran despite a crackdown by security forces. Security forces attempted to stop protesters and killed at least 2 people after firing into the crowd. Activists can be heard shouting, quote, "Woman, life, freedom," and "Death to the dictator," end quote, as they march down the streets of Iran. Since September, nearly 185 people have been killed in protests. Despite this, protesters remain strong as they call for a set of new leaders and an end to authoritarianism within Iran. On Thursday, the deadliest mass shooting in Thailand occurred at a daycare, killing 36 people, including 24 children. Families gathered to pay their respects to those lost in the massacre. They left toys, candles, wreaths, and prayers for victims. The Thai Prime Minister visited survivors and families of the massacre to offer respects. The massacre comes as a shock to the nation, marking the deadliest mass shooting by a single person in Thai history. The gunman, a former Bangkok policeman, has been identified by police but fled the scene. That's what's going on around the world. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Brooklyn. Crews with the Bloomington Fire Department put out a small fire at an off-campus apartment building on Sunday. Just after 4 p.m., firefighters were dispatched to the Dillon on the city's west side. Smoke was reported coming from a third-floor bedroom. Firefighters were able to locate flames coming from burning plastic near an electrical outlet. The fire was put out in a few minutes. No one was injured in the fire.
Bloomington City Council voted Thursday on whether to approve or reject a redistricting map that was drawn by an independent commission. The vote was 5-4 in favor of adopting the proposed map. During the meeting, Council asked questions and gave their comments, as did members of the public. City Councilman Stephen Vullen was urging Council to reject the proposal and asked the Commission to include a nearly all-student district. Vullen said the vote was unfortunate, but students are still getting a voice in the new map.
There's still a lot of students in the District 6 that's been adopted. I am a little disappointed in some of the misinformation that was cited by those who opposed my effort.
City Council elections take place next fall and primaries begin this coming spring.
This past week, Bloomington Transit celebrated its 40th anniversary. In 1982, an ordinance was enacted to establish the Bloomington Public Transportation Corporation. Just shy of 10 years after the bus service in Bloomington began, it was organized and standardized with codes that still guide it today. To celebrate the anniversary, they declared October 5th a fare-free day. Bloomington Transit also announced a $7 million federal funding award to add new electric buses.
H&S reporter Carson Johnson is in studio to tell us about the multi-million-dollar grant for IU Medicine's Alzheimer's research. Carson.
Thanks, Ashton and Callie. I caught up with Dr. Bruce Lamb and Natalie Sutton to talk about a recent grant made to IU Medicine for Alzheimer's research. Take a look.
In late September, IU Medicine received a $48.8 million grant from the National Institute of Health to help further late-onset dementia and Alzheimer's research.
I mean, it's really exciting that this grant is coming here to IU School of Medicine and IU Health. And it just sort of is building on the really incredible research programs we have in Alzheimer's disease research here that I don't think people really fully appreciate.
Dr. Bruce Lamb is the executive director of IU Medicine's Stark Neurosciences Research Institute and will oversee much of the research made possible by the grant.
My hope is that over these next 5 years, we'll have some therapies that have turned positive in some of our models. And then the next, we'll then be able to start to move those into patients.
Indiana has become a hotspot for Alzheimer's research, with companies like Roche Diagnostics, Eli Lilly, and IU Medicine all funneling considerable money into their Alzheimer's programs. IU Medicine maintains a close relationship with the Indiana chapter of the Alzheimer's Association, who just hosted their annual Walk to End Alzheimer's.
The funds that we raise at the Walk to End Alzheimer's support research through the Alzheimer's Association's research leadership, as well as our international research grants program. So we fund research directly. And in addition to advancing research, the funds raised at the Walk also help provide care and support services and resources to Hoosiers who are living with Alzheimer's or dementia or providing care for someone with the disease.
While Alzheimer's might seem bleak at first glance, there is lots of ongoing progress being made in the fight against this debilitating disease.
If you or a loved one is suffering from Alzheimer's, feel free to call the Indiana Alzheimer's Association's 24-hour helpline for resources and support. Ashton and Callie, back to you.
Thanks, Carson. Hank Joseph now joins us for the latest on IU athletics.
And Hank, Hoosiers, they didn't look too bad that first half, but then what happened that second half?
Yeah, well, the offense sputtered, which has really been the case all year, and Tom Allen decided to fire a coach, which, doesn't always work out, but let's hope things change coming up here in the future. Thanks, guys. The IU men's soccer team, let's talk about something a little bit happier. The IU men's soccer team played 2 games this past week. They defeated in-state rival Notre Dame 1-0, thanks to senior Ryan Wittenberg's 5th goal of the season. Then over the weekend, they tied a Big Ten opponent once again, drawing Rutgers for another point in the Big Ten as they sit now in 5th place in the conference. The IU women's volleyball team fell in 5 sets on the road at Iowa after beating the Hawkeyes just 2 weeks ago at home. They were unable to pull out the win after a resilient performance from the Hawkeyes coming back down 2-1. IU was led by Maddie Saris with 22 kills as they still await 2 starters to return from injury. And looking forward to the basketball season, which is always what we do around this time, this past Friday was the introduction of both the IU men's and women's basketball team to the fans at Hoosier Hysteria in Assembly Hall. The events included a 3-point shooting contest, a skills challenge, and finished with the scrimmage from each team. The 3-point contest was won by Miller Kopp and Chloe Moore McNeil. The skills competition was won by Grace Berger after she drained a half-court shot for the win. Both teams come in with high expectations for the season and should provide an exciting year for IU fans. And finally, Ashton, your favorite topic, the IU football team lost their 3rd straight in a tough bout with number 4 ranked Michigan on homecoming this past Saturday. The Hoosiers offense stalled once again in the second half as they have now gone 2 straight weeks putting up goose eggs after the break. Head coach Tom Allen announced the firing of offensive line coach Darren Hiller after the loss on Saturday and the promotion of run game coordinator Rod Carey to the spot.
Thanks, Hank, and thank you for watching this week's episode of Hoosier News Source.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUSTV News.
I'm Callie Lichter.
And I'm Ashton Hackman from Bloomington, Indiana. We'll see you next time.